Alrighty, looks like we're good to go. So, welcome everybody. I just want to say hello and thank you for joining us today, wherever you're joining from. My name is Shar, and I'm here presenting today with Wes.
What's Neil? Hi.
Yes, my colleague. And I guess before we get started, we just kind of wanted to introduce ourselves a bit. Um, so, we work with for Vantage Aging, and our job titles are as digital navigators. And essentially, we help those that are CSEP participants. That stands for Senior Community Service Employment Program. And we help them complete remote training in computer skills and learning some computer programs. So, really, the individuals that we work closely with are in that 55 and older age range that are seeking permanent employment, um, permanent work positions, and are completing some training that will help them do just that. Um, so today, our kind of the the target audience that we're kind of presenting towards really is that 55 and plus population. And we're kind of talking about how they can use LinkedIn as a helpful resource when it comes to job seeking and also just in general um, for individuals kind of who just want to make a presence in a more professional space. And that's why we've kind of titled this presentation, this workshop, how to, or sorry, not how to, but maximizing your reach with a professional LinkedIn profile. So we'll go ahead to our next slide, and here's just kind of our quick outline of what we'll be discussing today. So first, kind of an introduction to what LinkedIn is, how to create a LinkedIn account and how to navigate that platform. And then we'll kind of go into more about engaging with the community on LinkedIn, also how to find job opportunities on there. And then a little conclusion with some time to answer any questions, time permitting. So we'll go ahead into the introduction on the next slide. So what is LinkedIn? Um, LinkedIn is one of the biggest networking sites for professionals. I know a lot of people have maybe heard of LinkedIn, but maybe don't really know what it really is. But kind of the main uses is something I'll kind of speak to. But um, it is really a form of social networking online on the internet. So it was specifically designed with business networking in mind. Okay, so unlike Facebook, or Twitter or other social networking websites you may have used or heard of, LinkedIn is a very professional space. So it's not a place to connect with others in a more personal way. I want to make that clear. But you can access LinkedIn at its website, which is www.linkedin.com. Some people also like to use the application for LinkedIn on their phone. So that's depending on what phone you have, you can use the app store or the application area to download that if you'd like to as well. But one of the main uses of LinkedIn is to connect with individuals in your industry or kind of industries that you are interested in being a part of. Okay. It's also a place where we're meant to build your connections, build your community for professional development, and is a place where you can also find job opportunities where you can apply for them. You can let people know that you're looking for work in a specific industry. LinkedIn is also known to be a place where you can research companies and also find news and updates about industries and businesses that you're interested in as well. If we go to our next slide, we'll see kind of a little infographic here. Kind of gives us a bit of a different or a few different statistics that we can look at. But the one that I kind of wanted to speak to is the one in the middle. It says members turn to LinkedIn for a variety of reasons, right? So it's kind of the aspects that I spoke to, right? But we have those percentages present: 76% for networking with other professionals, 72% for fostering their professional identity, 46% for following current industry discussions, and 43% for learning about companies. Um, so I just really like this infographic to kind of share, um, to show some of these different statistics. Um,
I think it really
let's
speaks
see.
to what LinkedIn's all about as well, focusing
Mhm.
on most of it being that networking. That's
Right,
the major pillar of it.
exactly. Yeah. Let's go ahead and we'll also pop onto that next slide to show another graph here.
Okay.
So this graph shows LinkedIn users worldwide, right? We can see here, yes, thank you, yes, that only 3.7% of the users on LinkedIn are 55 or older in age. Um, right, so it shows us that it's a place where, not most people on there are 55 and older. And it may seem like an intimidating, statistic to see. But I think it can also speak to kind of a positive aspect where it may, be a place where you can kind of get the edge up over other individuals in your age range. But I think it speaks to a lot of different things of like, maybe there's that technology aspect that older individuals aren't as familiar with. Um, but it can be such a great space to really help you in a professional sense. Was there anything you wanted to add to that one, Wes?
Yeah. Just kind of speaking to what you mentioned about that percentage being so low.
Hmm.
An individual who's 55 and up, if they were to join LinkedIn now, there's going to be kind of just a better chance of them finding a job through this source than if they were, say, 25 to 35 looking for a job that would fit someone in that
Yeah,
category. So
exactly.
if they join LinkedIn at this point, they're in a way still a pioneer where they can kind of come
Hmm.
in and get kind of first dibs on things that may be out there. There may even be
Right.
a job that's sitting out there that hasn't been right for anybody that's already using the program, but they're just waiting for that person to take that chance and join the site. And I think as more people join that site too, LinkedIn will also find itself more inundated with people wanting to hire people of that age range as well. So joining the site is kind of a double benefit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mhm. And it's not an overnight thing. It's still the main part of it's still that networking, but
right.
it's a
For
good time to
sure.
join. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Wes.
Yeah.
And that kind of just kind of concludes our quick little introduction to LinkedIn. I'm going to pass it over to Wes to kind of talk about how to get started on there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is going to be a little bit more generic for everybody, just so you know, just kind of go over the basics, just in case you don't have that much have that much expertise with the computer. So we're just going to go through the steps. So if this is a little dry or a little slow for you, apologies, but we're just want to make sure we catch everybody. The first thing I want to point out is that you are going to need an email address. Google or any other, like a Gmail account or any other email will work. Google has a separate kind of route it will go though. We won't mention it here today, but if you download this PDF from YouTube or whatever sources you can end up grabbing it from, there's a link right here where it says here. That'll take you to the back end of the slideshow, and there's actually instructions for how to set up a Google account there, a Gmail account. So that option's there for you if you need it. If not, we'll just kind of jump forward from there, assuming we all have one at this point. And as Shar mentioned before, we're going to go ahead and go to that website, which is www.linkedin.com. If you were to put it in without the W's, still would probably work for you. You can also Google LinkedIn, and there should be one of the first options. If you were to Google it, should be the main page where you can then either sign in or sign up. Okay. So there's two options again. Like I said, you're going to have a Google or you're going to have a LinkedIn. These are going to be slightly different. So I just want to go over both cases here, and we'll jump to the next slide for that. Went ahead and just kind of split this up here. At the top, the Google route, if you've already have a Gmail account, in a lot of ways is a lot quicker because you already have a lot of that information saved, such as passwords and stuff. And this is an opportunity to kind of stop and talk about whether you want to utilize that process. It is generally very, very safe, but there is always that opportunity for mishaps and data leaks along the way. But it is relatively safe to go ahead and just link your LinkedIn with your Google. Um, Google prides itself on being a very secure and safe website, so LinkedIn as well. And when you have those secure websites, it's generally very, very safe for you to kind of connect them in a way where you make your life a little bit easier. But if you prefer to have a little bit more of a division there so that your passwords and stuff are kind of separated and someone can't, if they were to get in, to just kind of be able to get from all of your information easily. Then another option, Microsoft, Yahoo, something of that regard, Hotmail, various other things, are all opportunities down at the bottom as well. The route to get through those, very, very similar. You'll go ahead and you'll either select your Gmail account, or if you're using another option, you'll go ahead and type in your email. You'll go ahead and create a password as well, and then agree to join. Both ways, relatively quick, relatively easy. And then both of those options will most likely give you will have you do a CAPTCHA, which will basically just make sure that you're not a computer program that's known as a bot, which tries to sometimes create accounts and stuff. So that's just a quick little process. Probably have to type out some letters or pick some pictures from a group, and then that will kind of prove that you're human, and then you'll get to sign in. We'll go ahead and we'll jump over to the next slide. Okay. So we're going to keep coming back to this specific slide a few times. If you notice, there's 4 different sections that I have highlighted here. And we're going to kind of go through the process of setting up your LinkedIn account once you've signed in or created an account, and then just kind of showing you around a few areas. It's going to be still frame, so it's not going to be the entire package, but we're going to do our very best to make sure that you have a good idea of how to navigate through everything. And the very first thing you're going to want to do is to go ahead and kind of set up your profile, which includes a profile picture, but is not limited to that. So right here, we have John Doe signing into his account, and he's going to want to add a picture. And we can go ahead and, sorry, this is part of the signing up process. I apologize if I got mixed up. Okay. I'm going to shift over to this just so we can fill it in. That one slide just got pushed forward on me. I apologize. But if Google, you may have to put in a security code. You can get that through text message or however you have your security code set up, and maybe an alternative email. And then with that, you'll go ahead and confirm your sign in. Okay. I jumped to the very end of the slideshow. I apologize, everybody. That's why everything got messed up. And we're back where we belong. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. I must have clicked in the wrong spot. All right. So adding a photo on LinkedIn. Adding a photo is pretty straightforward as long as you have one on your computer. If you aren't sure about the process of getting a photo on your computer, most computers nowadays have a built-in camera. So you can go ahead and open the application on your desktop, go ahead and take a picture of yourself, and then upload it from there. If you have a photo that is maybe on your phone, you can either email it to yourself, or depending on the computer and phone that you have, they may even be able to send that to each other in an easier fashion. But regardless, once you have a photo that you prefer, you can go ahead and click the Add Photo button on LinkedIn, and that will give you the option to then select the photo from your desktop. Once you go ahead and select that photo from your desktop, it will appear in the kind of little editing section for the photo. Now you can spend as much time as you want on this. It gives you the ability to zoom in, to straighten up your photo, which is kind of like a tilt feature. If maybe your head's a little crooked and you want to kind of shift it, it'll kind of do that for you. Various filters and adjustments that you can do. I will say that you can sometimes go a little overboard with altering a picture. So if it looks good, then you're probably good to go with it. Don't try to do too much with it, but feel free to make small adjustments to make it look just that much better. You want to find something that just really pops for you, and don't be afraid if you feel like it's good to just kind of move on as well, though. Okay, so it's kind of a give and a take. It's not just about a picture, though. We want to kind of build on who you are. The first step of that is, of course, the face. Who are you? And some of you may prefer to just have your face shown. Some of you may prefer more of your torso in there as well. It's kind of just whatever you prefer. Okay. But as we continue to build on the profile, we'll see that our user or our profile picture has shown up where it needs to be. You can go ahead and verify your account as well. I didn't mention this as well, but you'll basically get an email that says, hey, want to make sure it's you. You click that, it's verified. That's just going to be an email that LinkedIn will send you after you create a profile. So nothing too crazy. It's not necessary, but it's something worth doing eventually. Once you hit the opportunity, you can go ahead and add to your profile section, and that will give you this list below. Now, there's a couple key things here. It's actually divided into 3 sections. I only have the core section pulled up here, but as you add to your profile, you're going to add a core section, a recommended section, and an additional section. Each one of these layers will help others see and understand who you are, what you're about, as they look at your profile. You can put as much information or as little information as you want. You always want to be honest on here. Again, it's a very professional website. It's meant to be a place to network and find jobs for people, to communicate within the job. So you want to go ahead and make sure that you're being honest and you're putting good info. And it's just, again, a way for people to get to know you a little bit better. If they like what they see, they may contact you. It may be someone just saying like, hey, I like the vibes I'm getting from you. I just wanted to meet you, say hi. Could be a potential employer that comes in and says, hey, I like your profile. Is there any chance you want to do a phone call interview or something like that? Just so they can kind of just get to fill you out a little bit better. But this is that first interaction, the first chance for you to impress them. Okay, so it's very, very important to go ahead and set it up. Take your time with it. Make sure that it looks good. Make sure that make sure it flatters, but also make sure it doesn't flatter to deceive. Okay. And we'll go ahead and we'll move on from there. So that was our section 1. I'm going to go ahead and jump us into section 2 as well. I'll get you guys back to Shaw here shortly, but I'm going to finish out these 4. And in our section 1 or section 2, I'm sorry, this is basically the control center of the website. And in this, you're able to jump between different sections. You can see that we're currently at the home, and you have a lot of tools here, but you can also work on your networking, which is essentially the Facebook equivalent would be like your friends, but it's a little bit more diverse than that. You look at job opportunities, there's a messenger and notifications as well as your profile. So there's lots to do there, but we'll jump in and get a little bit better look here. We're going to talk about networking here in a second as well, and then the other stuff we'll get to in course. But the main thing is learning to not just connect to people, but also to find people to follow, people who maybe are in your job field that are doing really well. Maybe you want to follow them so you can see what they're doing, productively, and then you can essentially mimic that if needed. Or at the same time, that might even give you ideas to then be a trendsetter and go out there and kind of create new ideas. Okay. You also have the job section that I mentioned before. This is actually a place where you can go into the applying process for a job. A couple people post, or a lot of people will actually post jobs on the site. When you go to apply for them, usually will probably take you to their home website where they'll actually have the interview process, but it's a quick jump, almost seamless, and it makes the job search process just a lot easier. So not only are you making those connections for hopefully a future job, but when you see an opening available, you can go ahead and apply for it. The message system that's involved, you can either do group messages. So this could be something where you talk to people in your workplace, to stay cordial with them, to get information from them. And it also can be a place where you can privately message somebody like a potential employer and just say, hey, wanted to introduce myself, to check out my profile. I think I'd be good for a job if there's an opening. I don't see one in the job section, but just want to put my name out there. And then, of course, you have your notifications as well. So if you get a message or a job opportunity that seems to fit you, that'll show up in your notifications so that you can instantly see, hey, there's an opportunity for me. I can go ahead and jump on that. And then lastly, we can go ahead and get to our account to edit any of that information if we need to. Okay. There is also a premium option. We're not going to talk about that today. The free option works just fine. But if you are curious, you can always look at that. But again, the free option works just fine. Okay. We are going to go ahead and jump to number 3 real quick. This is where um, it's not to be confused with the messaging, because the messaging is more of you working with an individual, talking to them, or even a small group. This is more Facebook's just posting, where you can actually see this. It's where you can put an advertisement of some extent. It's where you can tell people about events. It's um, where you can just post helpful information, stay positive, stuff like that. And we'll go ahead and take a look here. So here's where you can kind of just start a conversation. You as an individual don't just have to write a post, but you can also um, schedule an event on a calendar. You can post media like a picture, maybe a job advertisement or stuff like that. You can even do polls so that you can look at it and say, okay, what does the community around me think about this? You could ask them about, should I try to pursue this kind of job versus that kind of job in any kind of fashion? Or you could also use it for kind of smaller things like within the workplace. Who wants to order what for lunch? Okay. So there's a lot of opportunities there. It's a lot of ways for you to use this website to your within your company, as an individual, as a job seeker, even as an employer. You can actually use this website in a lot of different ways. In that same section, there's also the opportunity to see what other people are posting. So here we have the advertisement for this very event that you're all at. So a little late advertising there, but I thought it was a good fit. So you can actually kind of see just an example of what that would look like. You can get the information. You're allowed to like the post as well. I must caught it early. And then you can also give comments as well, repost it for other people so that your community maybe doesn't see what you see necessarily. If you follow certain people that they may be interested, you repost it, you help spread that word. And if you want to send it off to somebody a little bit more privately, you can also do that by sending it to them directly as well. So lots of opportunities for you to interact with, again, your whole community in different ways. And it's just a way LinkedIn likes to kind of help you build that community up. All right. Last one here is number 4. This one's really cool. It's essentially LinkedIn's news. Um, they update regularly, as you can kind of see here. And there's a wide variety of what you'll see here. And there's also a wide variety of different ways that this information comes from. So you have things like the daily rundown, for example. That's just an easy way if you to get professional news. Just LinkedIn's version of the regular news that's coming out each day. I will say that this news is tailored towards um, professional growth, the workplace, trends and jobs and things like that. That's the general idea. Business news is essentially what you're looking for. You will see constant updates of those latest trends as well. Things that mental health as well, stuff like that will pop up. So like California, oh wait, sorry, that says California wage hikes. I just saw hike. But you could see things, as I said, about mental health and stuff, helping you create a calm workplace and stuff like that. You can see stuff that may uh, go towards stocks, such as like Tesla raises the price of Model Y. What would that affect the economy? Stuff like that. Stuff about General Motors. Um, and then we go into editor picks, which actually can be things from the community itself. So you could find yourself on the news if you are creating posts and stuff that are, creating a big trend, and you're putting stuff out there that a lot of people are tending to like and are getting something out of. So you can be a leader in this community at any point by just communicating and being part of that community. All right. I want to take it back to number 2 real quick here with engaging with the community. And in doing this, you can connect to people. You can also follow people that you may not know, and you can always manage your network at any point. So, in with that, connecting with people are going to be people that you know. So, if you were to say to work Advantage Aging, then you would most likely see people who also work Advantage Aging pop up as people that you may know. If you've been at a couple different jobs over the years, you go ahead and put in your work history in. You may see old friends and old coworkers pop up in this section. Other people that work in similar fields that you probably don't know, maybe even live in a different state or such, they will show up in the bottom section here. And sometimes these flip flop a little bit, they kind of jump back and forth. But um, if you find people in a similar field, you'll be able to follow them, follow their page, and get those updates in that third section that I mentioned, where you can actually see their posts and stuff. So that's a way that you can stay in touch with what's going on in your community and build your community up both ways. At any point, you can manage your community, so you can kind of look at who you're following, who you're connecting. Um, if by chance you ever wanted to disconnect from someone, that is a possibility. You can also look at different things such as events, groups, and even specific hashtags that you may be interested in. You can go look for those things specifically to kind of help narrow down your search. So all these good options to just kind of, again, build your community. Okay. And as you build that community, I just want to put in a little just general warning. Wanting to stay safe online. Very, very good resource. LinkedIn is a very, very good resource. But you still have to kind of have a little bit of awareness about you. You want to make sure that the people you're talking to have your best interest at heart as well. And if someone was to come in with a private message that says, "Hey, I think I got a job opportunity for you. All I need is your social security number, your bank account, and all this stuff, and I'll set everything up," that's a little fishy. You can report them to LinkedIn, but when those messages do pop up, definitely be mindful of this seems off. If you're going to do something like give a social security number, that's going to be a little bit further into the job hiring process. You're going to know the person, you're going to talk to them multiple times. You're going to know that that job is a legitimate job. So just be very aware of any kind of if something seems off when you're using the website. Good tools can be misused by people who tend to do wrong. So just keep yourself mindful as you work through the website. Okay. And then from your end, using etiquette is definitely very important. Remember, this is a professional website, and it's meant to be a place where you can interact professionally, and it's also a place where you should expect others to act professionally towards you. And the only way
Mhm.
that that really truly works is that each and every one of us is using proper etiquette. We're being polite, we're being punctual. I myself, anybody who knows me knows that I am a horrible speller. I always have to double check my spelling, but that's something on a website like LinkedIn I need to triple check and make sure that I'm doing correctly so that I'm putting myself out there, my best foot forward in this business setting. Okay. So as I said, double check spelling and grammar before you post. Introducing yourself is very important. Just don't assume that they saw your profile name. Go ahead and still say, "Hey, I'm Wes. How are you doing today?" And actually start that conversation like you would in the real world. Have that humanity about you as you talk. Have that um, the personality, if you will, and just kind of again build up your character beyond your profile, expand that into just them really getting to know who you are. um, Leaving that good impression is very, very important. Your profile may be their first impression of you as an entity, but your interaction with them is also going to be your first impression of how they see you as a potential employee. So both of them are equally as important. So you want to make sure that you get that going. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And just some last few little helpful tips, and then I'll hand it back over. Um,
Oh, I wrote some tips or
okay.
like notes for this one too, Wes.
Okay. Go for it.
Um, so yeah, so I kind of added some of these extra helpful tips in when it kind of as a whole with LinkedIn and about items that Wes and I have kind of spoken to already. Um, with your profile, um, you can add in a lot of your different experiences and past job positions on there. But as you complete it, we really want you to focus on not putting, it's not a work history, not a complete work history, because it can kind of, in a way, be unhelpful to you to do that. With the main purpose of your profile being to promote yourself, put yourself out there. So you do kind of want to cater your profile a little bit to, the industry or jobs that you're looking for, or industries that you're interested in connecting to. Um, so yeah, so that'll look like relevant work experiences, even volunteer experiences, maybe um, training that you have that's relevant, or certificates, things like that. You'll see that on your profile. You can add positions, add experiences, things like that. Another area on your profile that is pretty important and it really sticks out is that about section. And I have an example in the next slide that we can look at. But here is kind of where you want to state who you are. Some people, especially if you're in a permanent position, I would say that, stating what you do, what makes you unique, kind of why it matters is really important. But for someone who is really more so looking for permanent position, and especially if they're switching industries, something like that, and they may not have past experience in that area, I would also recommend kind of putting your aspirations down there, or what your passions are and what you're looking to do, um, as that promoting aspect as well. Um, some more tips about just kind of participating. Um, to really maximize your reach on LinkedIn, right? This is what this workshop is about. It's really important to be present on it. So to get value out of it, you really do need to participate and engage intentionally. I would say, it doesn't have to be every day, because I don't think most of us have time to do that. But, every now and again, in order we just do have to show up, right, and put in the effort. With professional and business relationships, they're kind of like personal relationships in a way that they still need to be nurtured over time. So it's not just one and done, right? You don't just add a connection and that's it. But I would recommend kind of looking at it as kind of starting when you're starting off, kind of going slowly and building your presence, building your network. So I would say probably helpful to maybe start with people and then kind of go from there. They can connect you to other people that you may be. I have a friend that's also on LinkedIn that's actually in this industry that you're interested in. Let me introduce you to them. It might look like that, for example. And then that last bullet point we have, turning off notifications while you're editing your profile. So LinkedIn by default, it actually has this setting on that notifies the people you're connected with anytime that you make any sort of change on your profile. So if you are connected to people already on LinkedIn and then you're making a lot of changes on your profile, adding experiences, different things like that, past job positions, it can get a little bit redundant, a little bit annoying for people that you're connected with to get consistent notifications about edits or changes that you're making to your profile. So um, there is a setting to kind of turn that on and off, because once you're finished creating, like kind of having your profile the way you want it to look like, you can turn it back on. If you were to, find a position or change jobs, for example, people would get notified and they might say, like, congrats on your new job, tell me about it, or something like that. But in the next slides here as well, I'll kind of show you exactly how to do that. Um, but this first slide here is just an example of, I wanted to show that this is right underneath Teddy's name is that about section I was talking about. So for Teddy, he's kind of had this position for many years, kind of an expert in his area. His says guiding humans with LinkedIn presence, networking, conversations, and brand development. Your sales team can stop wasting time on LinkedIn with highly focused LinkedIn and sales navigator strategy, training, and advice. So his really does speak to what he does, why it matters, what makes him unique, right? Yours might look a little different if it's, if you're kind of just starting on there, it might be, I'm, you know, um, passionate about helping people, etc., something like that. But I just wanted to show you an example about what that could look like. His is pretty, he works specifically with LinkedIn and helping people on LinkedIn. So I wanted to include his on there. And then yeah, we'll go ahead to the next slide. And this is the exact step-by-step what to click on to change those notifications for when you're editing your profile. So you'll click on me on your profile and then settings and privacy. We'll go on to the next one. Once you see this page, you're going to click on privacy, and then we'll click on sharing your profile edits. We'll click on that one. And after that, on the next slide, it'll show us um, under sharing profile edits, we'll click on that toggle button where it says yes, because it automatically is on yes. Once we click on that, on our next slide, you'll see that it'll switch to no, and then it'll say saved. So it should say no, you'll see saved right to the right, letting you know that the changes have been made. And then when you're ready to change it back, you can do it the exact same way and just switch the no to yes. So that's just how we do that. And if we didn't mention before, we are going to make this slideshow available to y'all so that you can go back to it to reference it because it is a lot of information. So those are kind of some extra tips to be mindful of. Um, I'm also going to talk about finding the job opportunities and how to do that on LinkedIn. Now, Wes did show exactly kind of when he was talking about navigating the website, where that job area is. Um, but we will show you again. But as we kind of mentioned before, another big aspect of LinkedIn is to kind of find job opportunities. Um, and just like another um, job search website, LinkedIn has those postings. It looks kind of similar to Indeed if you've used that before. But I will say if you are using LinkedIn only to access the job search page, that probably won't serve you very well. It's kind of not the most helpful way to kind of go about using LinkedIn to benefit you. So it's the connections that will really be helpful. A lot of recruiters use LinkedIn. They can see your profile, they can see who you're connected to, especially if they have mutual connections. You might have connections with people in the company, and that's something that recruiters like to see sometimes. Recruiters sometimes will send you messages, right? To I think Wes spoke to this a little bit, but they may be like, "Hey, I saw your profile. It seems like your experience or whatnot would be a good fit for this job. Here's like the link to our proper posting of this job." That compared to just going to the website on your own is kind of an extra added plus there that LinkedIn can help you with. um let's see.
They can connect to like your if your past employers are on LinkedIn, they could just send them a
Hmm.
message and ask about you, and that could be a quick
Right.
way for them to get that reference.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
yeah.
References. Yeah, absolutely.
There's
um
also
Go ahead.
volunteer opportunities.
Yes.
The second one here, volunteer opportunity. So if you're in between jobs and you see something like this that pops up that you might be interested in, it's definitely a good option to go ahead and just get that little bit of experience under your belt. And then the person posting this job, you do a good job, and then they they can then be a resource for you as well. That's just one extra person in your
Yeah,
community that can help vouch for you, can help you find a job, and maybe even taking this opportunity will expand your network so that you can find that future job.
absolutely. Yeah, there's that um, bullet point at the bottom talk about connections are key. And it's just kind of a reminder that building the connections is going to be that main helpful piece on LinkedIn. Um, I have a video in the next slide that we won't get to just quite yet, but we have that other bullet point. I just want to make sure that y'all know that that's there. but we have the other bullet point about setting up job alerts based on your experience or based on whatever criteria you're looking for. I'll show you how to do that as well. But let's go ahead to that next slide and see if we can share that video on finding jobs on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if the sound will work, but we'll see.
Because employers frequently use LinkedIn to screen and recruit potential candidates, more and more companies have begun posting job openings to the site. To search for jobs, click the Jobs icon. From here, you can check out openings that LinkedIn thinks you may be interested in. You can also type what you're looking for in the search box. You can then narrow down your search results by using the filters near the top of the window, such as experience level or job type. To learn more about a particular job, click its title. In addition to details like the job's location and requirements, you'll also see how many of your connections work for that particular company. If you want to apply to a job, click Apply, and you'll be taken to that company's website. Some openings also have an easy apply option. This allows you to apply to a job in just a few clicks by submitting the information in your LinkedIn profile. Keep in mind that if you use Easy Apply, we still recommend writing a personalized cover letter with every application you send. You can also set up preferences for your job search through the Career Interests function. From your profile, scroll down until you find your dashboard, then click Career Interests. This lets you save preferences for the type of job you're looking for, including location, company size, and industry. LinkedIn will then start giving you relevant recommendations and search results. We suggest using Career Interests so you'll have a better chance of seeing jobs you may actually want.
All right, we can go to that next one. So yeah, that's just kind of a quick rundown of how to find those jobs, what it looks like. We wanted to give you a little look into what it looks like so you're familiar. And that career interest is another interest, like helpful piece as well. Some people don't like to use the career interest. If you want to instead create a job alert, that will let you know when a job with specific criteria that you're looking for gets added. It'll notify you on your notifications at the top of your at the top of your LinkedIn. And if your settings are defaulted, it'll most likely also send you an email saying, hey, here's your job alert. There's these jobs that you're interested, that you're wanting to look for, that were just that were just posted on LinkedIn as well. So in order to do the job alerts, I'll just show you an example. We're going to click that jobs on the very top of your page in that orange square. And then on the left-hand side, you'll click on job alerts, and we'll go to the next slide to show the rest. Now, automatically, if you don't have any job alerts, you'll see this page because you don't have any set up yet. So go ahead, click next. And to the next slide, we'll see, I kind of did some individual kind of items here. So this was my own page. And I went up in the top left-hand corner, highlighted in yellow. I typed in family specialists. And since I'm in Indiana, I typed in Indiana. So I'm looking specifically for family specialists in Indiana. And you'll see that highlighted in red, it'll say set alert, and you'll click on that toggle button. And that means that anytime there's something that's similar to a family specialist located in Indiana job posting that pops up, it's going to alert me of that. So that's kind of how we do that. But you can also change it to, if you want a specific salary or experience level, you can also put those parameters as part of your job alert. Also, because maybe you're looking for entry level, or maybe you're very experienced in this industry and you're looking for more intermediate or advanced level, or you're looking for a specific salary type, you can put those job alerts in there. And then another helpful thing is that whenever you're if you don't want to get those job alerts anymore, you can just kind of get rid of it if you're looking to switch it up or looking for something different in the future. So that's kind of a helpful tool that you can use related to looking for jobs on LinkedIn. Alrighty, I think we're ready to go next. Oh yeah, that's pretty much all we have for you today for the most part. Is there anything lasting points that you want to share, Wes?
I would just reinforce that it's a really good website to use. There's definitely an opening as far as not a lot of
Mhm,
people in the 55 and up community use this.
mhm,
So a lot of people who go ahead and sign up, here in the near future are going to be kind of those pioneers of it. They're going to get
mhm,
kind of first dibs on anything that may be there. And once that community builds, people will see that, and then people who employers, potential employers who want to provide the opportunity of a job can then go ahead and start posting on LinkedIn, and it will be even that much more of a tool. So
yeah,
uh, getting in early is always a good thing. Early bird gets the worm, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. I found it to be pretty helpful for me, um, just from my own personal experience. When I was in college, I was in a business class and they made me create a LinkedIn account. So my experience on there has been pretty positive. I just want to speak to, what was it? I'm losing my train of thought here. But that it is a lot. If you've never been on LinkedIn, it can be a little overwhelming if you're not the most tech savvy. That's an additional piece that may make it kind of overwhelming. But if you're interested, I just mainly recommend creating an account and just kind of playing around with what's on there. We spoke to a lot of different aspects of what you can do on LinkedIn, and there are even more aspects that we didn't talk about. So it can be overwhelming. There is a lot you can do on there, but just kind of get on there if you are interested. It doesn't hurt to get on there. You don't have to even create a profile yet, like put in your picture and all those different details. You can just get on there and take a look at it. Just to get a little bit more familiar with it. And then, like we kind of mentioned before, this video is recorded. It will be on the Vantage website and on the Vantage Aging Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. And we will also have like a PDF version. Is that correct, Wes? Um, that you can reference to reference some of these aspects that we've shared today, because I know I don't remember everything that I watch in in workshops and stuff. Um, so it is kind of meant to be a resource for y'all as well. Um,
And then I'd like to go ahead and I'm just going to click through like the epilogues of slides here. So
yes,
if someone
mhm,
needs help with getting an email, we're not
right.
going to
Just
talk
it'll be
about them.
on the
I'm
video.
just gonna leave them up for a couple sections and then move on.
Okay,
If
yeah,
you're watching this, you can always pause to see each step, or if you're
right.
watching this after the live is off and you're just watching the recording, you can definitely pause and see that as well if you're having trouble downloading the PDF. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click through those for a second.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then any other
And we do, yeah,
thing?
we have, if you all have any questions, especially those that are joining us from Facebook Live, we do have some time to answer some questions. So while we're kind of going through this, if you want to type in a question that y'all have, we can hopefully answer it to the best of our ability.
Oh, and then that was through those. So again, you can pause on those if you want to. And we're just kind of waiting for questions.
But if you don't have any questions and want to hop off, have somewhere to go to, that's okay as well. Like we said, this is accessible to y'all in different ways. Um, like we said, on the Vantage Aging website, on Vantage Aging's Facebook, mainly those are
LinkedIn.
the two that I know about for sure.
You got it. And I don't see any questions right now, but you can always put them in the comments to be answered later.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Lori. Alrighty, so with that, we will say thank you to everyone that joined us today, and we're going to go ahead and end our workshop presentation. Thanks for coming.